Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening. I hope you have had an incredible day today. Welcome to this very special podcast because today we are going to review the film Freedom Riders. I'm going to give my personal opinion, the things that I found positive, interesting, and negative about this film, and the small message that I think the film leaves us. Obviously, before starting this podcast, those who are listening to us must have already seen the film. If not, only you will take a lot of spoilers. So if you already saw it, welcome. And for those who do not, I invite you to see it and then return to this podcast. Before starting my review, let's talk a little about the context in which the film takes place. This film was released in 2007 and was written and directed by Richard LaGravenese. The film is inspired by the book The Freedom Riders Diary, where it talks about the real experience of teacher Erin Growell and her students in class 203 and Wilson High School in California. This story takes place a few years after the revolt of the Angels in 1992 that emerged after absorbing four police officers accused of police abuse, since they had a between a young man named Rodney King, almost to death. In this context, the film will show a student body composed of low-income adolescents of multi-ethnic origins. The teacher, Erin Growell, who is one of the protagonists, recently graduated from university, arrives at school with great hopes and purpose for the students, and this is how this story of change begins for these students. In one of the first scenes, it is shown how the teacher Growell shows her study plan for her students, and the principal tells her to lower the study standards for them since she has no hope that they can learn them because they come from reformatories or gangs. And this where I will give my first negative point, as they expected them to change their life if they do not believe in them enough. A school should promote learning for all its students, not just for a few. Another thing that seemed kind negative to me is that the teacher Growell confronts the principal and tells her that they only retain the students until they stop attending school or until they are old enough to leave, which generates less confidence from the teachers towards the students. Another scene that I found very interesting and important to highlight is where the teacher Growell, already giving classes to her students, changed to one of the plays because she did not stop talking in class and paces into the front of the room, where the only boy was wide of the room who did not want to move to that area. So when they moved, the problem boy, who I don't remember his name now, the whole class also changed places. This, in my point of view, is a reflection of the society of that time. You hang out with people who are similar to you in color, language, and ethnic origin. As Hiva, one of the students of class 203, announced at the beginning of the movie and saying the following: in Long Beach, only your appearance matters if you are Latino, Asian, or Black. They can shoot you when you leave your house. We fight for pride. We fight to survive. The teacher Growell tries to attract the attention for her students by inquiring into the environment in which they develop in the street and how they reflect it in the school, where she makes a reference to the Holocaust and realizing that her students do know what is Holocaust, and bought several editions of the Diary of Anna Frank for her students. And here, my first positive point: a teacher who does that for her students is very rare, how the teacher grower gets another two jobs to meet the needs of her students and make them interested in the school. At this point, the film highlights that thanks to the teacher's enthusiasm and self-denial, everything is possible and can change the way her students. The history of this particular boy seemed quite interesting to me, and my opinion he is my favorite character. He says that since he was a child he had to defend himself from the other gangs, so he had a friend get a gun and inadvertently this boy, a friend, shoots himself. The scared man just stays there until someone can help them, and the boy expressed the following: when the police arrived, they only saw a corpse, a gun, and a black man, and they took him to the prison where he was entering and leaving reformatories. In conclusion, Freedom Writers shows the dynamic planning of a teacher who faces the general dismotivation of both the students and some of their teachers. The films seem to highlight that thanks to the individual and creative action of only a teacher can reserve the context here, there are no God or bad, only preserves system that degrades education and demoralizes teacher, and the only way out is collective. Thank you for listening to this podcast. It was very interesting, very incredible. I love this movie. At first I didn't really want to see it, and it left me to think about it. So I hope you also like. And we will see you in another podcast. Until later, bye bye.